Good morning, and thank you for joining us as we kick off the 2025 Henrico State of the County with the celebration of an extraordinary group of businesses. I'm Ebony Atkins, Managing Director with the Henrico Economic Development Authority, and it is my pleasure to take a moment to recognize our 2025 legacy companies. Today, we honor 7 companies that have reached a remarkable milestone: 50 years or more of operation in Henrico County. Longevity like this is not achieved by accident. It is built on vision, resilience, strong leadership, and a deep commitment to serving customers, employees, and the broader community. Reaching 50 years in business is a testament to much more than financial success. It is a legacy. It reflects the founders who took risks, the employees who gave their best every day, and the customers who placed their trust in these companies year after year. Today, we celebrate that legacy and recognize the impact these businesses have made and continue to make on our region. We have 2 companies that were unable to attend today: Henrico Tool and Die and KBS. Let's give them a round of applause for their contributions to advanced manufacturing and the construction industry. And we'll have the board members come up, the EDA board as well as the Board of Supervisors, if you could come to the front. Thanks. First, we have Azalea Aquariums in the Fairfield District. And that is owned by Keith Howe and his wife Helen as well. Thank you. Next, we have Corman Signs. Sarah, Mary, and Bill Corman. We have Joe Butner, Junie Gillen, Ricky Martin, and Will Smithson with Radio Telecommunications Solutions. Our last 50-year legacy company is Summer M. Wilton in the Brooklyn District. And receiving the award is Summer Wilton and Ashley Wilton. And finally, I'd like to recognize a company with 100 years of employee ownership and more than 50 years of operation in Henrico County, and that is Gray Bar. We have Ryan Larimore and Brandon Weaver. We are proud to celebrate this milestone with you, and we look forward to seeing what the next 50 years will bring. Please join me in congratulating all of our honorees. Company representatives, if you could come back to the front for a photo. You all come. You guys might want to move up forward. It's just because there are too many people, so for height, we have you all up on the stage. And then we'll have them, yep. Tai.
too late. I didn't want to text her last night. Hey, good morning.
And now, let's welcome Mr. John Vitokis, Henrico County Manager.
Good morning, everyone. So, we do this every year. We report out on happenings in Henrico throughout the year. I can tell you this has been a remarkable year in our county. We had a collage of ribbon cuttings and events that we've celebrated, openings of community facilities this year, and I cannot recall a year like this one as far as activity that we have had in our county. And today is also about sharing and saying thank you. And that begins with saying thank you to our elected officials who are here this morning and really guiding the efforts of the county and the school board. And that begins with the Board of Supervisors, our chair, Dan Schmidt, our vice chair, Reverend Roscoe Cooper, Misty Roundtree, Jody Rogish, and Mr. Tyrone Nelson. And on the school board side, my partner, who I always publicly acknowledge as the best superintendent I've had the privilege of working with throughout my career, Dr. Amy Cashwell. But we also have a remarkable school board led by Marcy Shea, Vice Chair Madison Irving, Christy Kinsella, Ryan Young, and Alicia Atkins. And, this event, it takes a lot of coordination, and I want to thank the EDA board for everything that they do. Mr. Eddie Whitlock as chair, Floyd Mays, vice chair, Robert Brown, Susan Custer, Billy Gordon, Ty Mallory, John Montgomery, Travis Pearson, Savon Sampson, and Suresh Sundararajan. But I also, when I talk about coordination and effort, there's always a quarterback that leads internally. And so I want to recognize Ebony Atkins. Ebony, will you stand? You did know I was going to do this. But ladies and gentlemen, she has absolutely killed it as far as putting this event together and everything that she does for businesses in our county. I also want to recognize a young man that spent many, many hours putting this presentation together. He's in the budget office. Alex, raise your hand. Alex Siebold in our budget office. And, it warms my heart when we come to a state of the county and I see a new group of recruits that are here. If you look up here, we have the 86th Fire Academy. I believe there's 41 of them that are making a commitment to Henrico County, to our families and businesses. And will you recognize this group for what they're about to do? So, ladies and gentlemen, years ago, I used to spend hours and days and weeks agonizing about this presentation and how do we include everyone, and there are going to be things that we don't discuss because we cannot, within 45 minutes, fit everything in that the county has done. But we've changed it up a little bit over the years, and what you are going to see is the power of we this morning. We have an incredible staff. I would take our staff and stack them up against any locality, not in Virginia, but in the nation. And regrettably, you're not going to see all of them. You're going to see some of them. But what I certainly hope you see is the heart and the passion and the fire. So if you're a student that is here and is considering doing something special in your life, or if you're watching online, think about us. If you are in a career where you are thinking about, I don't feel fulfilled, think about Henrico County. If you want to do something meaningful for others in life and want to help us get to yes, which is what this presentation is about, then think about joining Henrico County. You know, I had a friend of mine recently tell me it is absolutely remarkable what I see with the staff that we have in the county, both on the general government and on the school side. And the comment that was made was that you all are able to get or get so much out of your staff. And, you know, the reply back was, well, we empower them, number one, and we give them the flexibility to be able to do good work for our residents. So, ladies and gentlemen, this morning is about getting to yes, and I'm going to begin by introducing our first all-star, and that is Deputy County Manager for Administration, Mr. Brandon Hinton. Brandon?
Thank you, sir. And ladies and gentlemen, can we take a moment and give our fearless leader, Henrico's 8th county manager since 1934, a round of applause, Mr. John Vitolkis. He hated that so much. We love you, boss. Good morning, everyone. So the county manager tells us often that we can't get to the really hard stuff in local government if we don't do the fundamentals right. You will see throughout this presentation this morning that with the advocacy and support of your Board of Supervisors, Henrico County is indeed leading and tackling the hard stuff head on. It would absolutely not be possible if our financial base was not sound. Our financial strength is how we were able to get to yes. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here this morning to tell you that we have never been in a better position of fiscal wellness than we find ourselves in today. That notion was validated by not one, but 4 rating agencies this past August, as Henrico became only the 3rd county in the entire United States to achieve a quadruple AAA rating on its general obligation bonds, or as the county manager referred to it as, Quadzilla. This distinction, ladies and gentlemen, has already saved our residents and businesses millions of dollars as we borrow funds to build new schools, new fire stations, new parks, renovate and modernize aging infrastructure, and more. 2 months later, those same 4 rating agencies found that Henrico's public utility bonds were also worthy of AAA status, earning the nation's very first quadruple AAA bond rating for a public utility. It takes more than 1 year to achieve this elite status, but rather many years of sound financial decisions made by your Board of Supervisors. It also requires an amazing finance team, and you won't find a better one in the Commonwealth than Henrico's, led by Sheila Miner. We needed a catchy slogan to identify this historic feat, and obviously the very cool Quadzilla was already taken. So our board chair, Dan Schmidt, very creatively coined this achievement as Quadzilla 2.0. And while we're humbled to be recognized in such high esteem, your county has never been one to rest on its laurels. Like all great organizations, the board challenges staff every day to be better. Under Dennis Bickmeyer's leadership, tourism numbers in Henrico County have exploded. Nearly $2 billion in visitor spending occurred in this county in 2024, only behind 3 Northern Virginia localities in Virginia Beach. Shout out to Perry Miller. Traffic at Richmond International Airport continues to break records with 4.9 million passengers in 2024 and on pace to break that record in 2025. And every single local revenue source affiliated with tourism is at record highs and growing, including, of course, our hotel tax receipts, as you can see on the slide before you. A significant driver of this growth is the amount of activity in the building we find ourselves in this morning, the Sports and Events Center. Indoor sports is filling what used to be a gap in occupancy rates in our summer and winter months. In fact, this past July alone, thanks in large part to Catherine O'Donnell, who I saw earlier, and Richmond Region Tourism, 2 major events in this building yielded the 3rd highest month of occupancy tax collections ever in this county, up 26% versus the same month last year. So hoteliers also continue to take notice as nearly 2,000 new hotel rooms are actively in progress in this county. So what's next? Another public-private partnership is under construction, this one at Glover Park, with our partners Prep Baseball Report, bringing 6 full-size synthetic turf baseball diamonds. Henrico is building 2, including a signature stadium, and Prep Baseball is building 4. This facility is expected to grow the number of PBR tournaments in Henrico from 21 to more than 35, bringing many more than this year's total of 488 out-of-town teams. Several weeks ago, Nova Aquatics unveiled its 2nd floor expansion at Regency Mall inside an old Macy's department store, doubling its capacity for visitors at 2,000 people, making it one of the largest natatoriums in the United States, and the only one of its size operated by a USA swim team. Nova has committed to 5 large new events in the first year alone, with more to come, attracting thousands of kids and their families to our county, but also keeping Nova's world-class athletes and their families home rather than spending their hard-earned money elsewhere. Shout out to CEO Lee Peterson and Director of Operations Drew Hurth, who I saw this morning, for making this vision a reality, as well as Rob Hargett and Mark Slusher for their creativity in transforming Regency Mall. On the jobs front, Anthony Romanello and his economic development team had another stellar year, adding over 1,400 jobs last fiscal year and more than $8.1 billion in total investment. Future-focused as always, the EDA recently celebrated the grand opening of the Henrico's Global Business Gateway, a unique initiative designed to support established international businesses as they expand into the U.S. market. Further, the EDA went live with its Henrico Tomorrow program in January of this year, providing programs and incentives to elevate office space in Henrico to premier status to meet strong demand for premium office space. Through October, $4.4 million in total grant funds have been leveraged, unlocking $73 million in renovation to 10 properties across the county, substantially upgrading over 1 million square feet of dated office space and creating 640 new jobs. Ladies and gentlemen, our base is sound and our outlook is promising, which has given the Board of Supervisors more than enough comfort to institute a number of tax cuts for residents and businesses in the county over the past 4 years. This board understands what has happened to real estate prices since 2020 and vehicle values and impacts to fixed income seniors. Dropping from 87 cents to 83 cents per $100 assessed valuation since 2022, Henrico County has by far the lowest real estate tax rate amongst its peers. The board also cut the personal property tax rate to the lowest in the region and one of the lowest in the entire state. For businesses in the county, the board voted in April to double the BPOL tax exemption from $500,000 to $1 million, ensuring the first $1 million in gross receipts go untaxed for our businesses. Not if, but when we find ourselves in economic difficulty again, we want our businesses to worry less about paying Henrico County and more about paying your staff. And yes, we are starting to see some of that economic uncertainty brewing. Your county is always preparing for these inevitable cyclical moments, beginning with our budgeting process and how we forecast revenue in the county, which is entirely unique in a local government in this Commonwealth, but also this nation. Shout out to our incredible budget director, Justin Crawford, and his team. Last fiscal year, the county collected $164 million more than the board's approved budget. This is entirely intentional. That cash differential helps fund one-time capital projects and helps build up cash reserves. Further, the current fiscal year budget that we're in now assumes $53 million less than what we actually collected last fiscal year. Conservative revenue estimates have allowed the county to grow its emergency cash reserves, which currently sits at nearly $500 million, a record high. Henrico is a business that must continue to operate regardless of the economic situation. Again, we've been preparing for the worst. And on the expense side of the ledger, your county remains incredibly conservative. Our debt tolerance levels remain the lowest amongst our peers. Our current staffing levels per 1,000 residents remains the same as it was in 1988. We are not adding undue weight to our budget. Your county is very thoughtful when it comes to adding new initiatives and opening new facilities. In 1988 perspective, so I turned 8 years old in 1988. However, the big man, Police Chief Eric English, was ripping down rebounds at the University of Richmond and leading U of R to its very first Sweet 16 appearance. Nice hops, Chief. Born a leader, always a leader. And while we kept expenses down, we continue to find ways to be better, to be leaner and more efficient, because again, this is what your Board of Supervisors demands of us. As part of the budget process this fiscal year, the county manager implemented a fiscal wellness exercise, one that has challenged staff to find $12 million in permanent savings, $6 million to general government, $6 million to schools, and to find more efficient ways to operate through technology and refining processes that may avoid the need for additional staff into the future. Yet we continue to invest in assets and initiatives that help make our community stronger. I began my comments this morning with the county's getting the hard work done. A vision of Reverend Tyrone Nelson, Henrico partnered with Pyramid Healthcare to construct a 60-bed drug and alcohol detoxification facility on 9 Mile Road. A groundbreaking ceremony was held in June. Recognizing Deputy County Manager for Public Safety, Mike Feinmel, whose passion and creativity brought this project to life, and of course, Jeff Davis and Dan Gelman of Pyramid for their willingness to partner with Henrico in this effort. This is yet another great public-private partnership in which the county is funding construction of the building, yet Pyramid is responsible for all staffing and other operational costs. This facility is planned to open in the summer of next year. So while we're always focused on the bottom line, we have also made significant investments in public safety and education. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce our outstanding and amazing basketball player, Chief English, to talk about public safety efforts. Chief?
Thank you, Brandon. Wow, that seems so many years ago. Good morning, and thank you all for being here. The agencies that are primarily responsible for the safety of our residents are having a phenomenal year. To start, the Henrico Police Division opened their new state-of-the-art South Station on Airport Drive in January this year. This facility is a significant upgrade, as it not only provides extensive space for our patrol division, but also houses our K-9s and their handlers. The facility contains a training area for our K-9s, which makes the development of our K-9 team much more effective and efficient. There is also a backup training room for our 911 center. We can now provide training for our dispatchers as if they were in our current 911 center. The training room allows prospective dispatchers to use multiple computers that allow them more realistic training. South Station has a large community room that can be used for various meetings. This facility will significantly benefit our East End residents. To piggyback off that, Firehouse 23 was built in the East End off 9 Mile Road, which is called Bungalow City, another state-of-the-art facility that will enhance fire service in the East End. The building includes administrative space, public and staff restrooms, along with 3 drive-through apparatus bays. With calls for service increasing, this 14,000 plus square foot facility will help the division maintain appropriate response times for the more than 55,000 calls it receives countywide each year. As you can see, fire calls have been fairly consistent over the past 6 years, and EMS calls continue to elevate. Since the addition of Fire Station 23, The response time from stations adjacent to Fire Station 23 have improved by 1 minute. It is not only impacting the area, but taking some of the burden from other stations around it. The data shows that your Division of Fire is responding to emergencies more efficiently. Our Department of Emergency Communications, our 911 center, continues to operate at a high level. Collaboration amongst public safety entities and technology play a major role in their involvement. From Project Lifesaver integration that enables qualified individuals with autism, Alzheimer's, or similar circumstances to be located more easily. This is a partnership with the Henrico County Sheriff's Office and Henrico Fire, utilizing best practices and technology for public safety to locate individuals that are lost or could be in distress. DEC also provides staff for special events, such as NASCAR, where all public safety agencies play a role. The Department of Emergency Communication and Henrico Police Division continue to hold the gold standard in public safety by being one of 24 in the United States in the Commission of Accreditation for Law Enforcement Agencies, also known as CALEA, to have Tri-Arc accreditation. This is awarded to agencies that have concurrent CALEA accreditation for law enforcement, public safety communications, and public safety training. We achieve this level and hold ourselves to a high standard in this profession. The Henrico County Fire Division is accredited through the Center for Public Safety Excellence. This exemplifies that the Fire Division is strategic-minded and well-organized, properly equipped, staffed, and trained. The Henrico Fire Division continues to have an Insurance Service Office, or ISO rating of 1, being the highest rating for exemplary fire protection. The ISO rating is based on the department's training, staffing, equipment, geographic distribution, our Department of Emergency Communications, and lastly, our water supply. The benefit from this training is not only excellent fire service, but it also contributes to lower insurance premiums for our residents. We are committed to maintaining a high standard of service, risk reduction, and preparedness. The Henrico County Sheriff's Division is also fully accredited. The Department of Corrections sets the standard for all jails. The mission is to ensure the division is providing effective incarceration, supervision, and evidence-based reentry services. The Department of Corrections audit concluded with 0 deficiencies. I want to thank Sheriff Alyssa Gregory, Fire Chief Jackson Baynard, DEC Director Kevin Pond for their leadership and holding their public safety agencies to an incredibly high standard. Crime reduction in the county will continue to be the focus for the police division as crime has fallen 6.7% in 2024, and we currently stand at a 12% reduction for 2025 compared to last year. Violent crime remains on the forefront of our efforts, and while any death is unacceptable, at this time last year, we had experienced 21 people that had lost their lives to violence. We currently stand with 2 homicides this year for the same time period in 2025. That is a 90.4% reduction from last year, which is truly, truly amazing. Mental health calls are becoming more frequent, and collaboration occurs with our mobile response team. That is a co-response to mental health comprised of a Henrico police officer and a Henrico mental health crisis clinician. They're responsible for addressing citizens in mental health crisis to determine the level of need, de-escalate the crisis, and reduce stigma. They also follow up through our Services to Aid Recovery, also known as STAR, on those that have received treatment. STAR includes members of Henrico Police, Henrico Fire, Henrico Sheriffs, Adult Protective Services, Child Protective Services, Henrico County Schools, Building Inspections, and Henrico Mental Health and Developmental Services to ensure we try to minimize the times that individuals need to seek treatment by conducting home visits to provide additional resources and outreach. Oh yes, we work as a team. For this year, mobile response team have responded to more than 500 calls for service and follow-ups within the county. Through proactive efforts such as home visits, service call follow-up, and assisting with mental health calls, MRT contributed to a 69% reduction of hospitalizations needed for consumers in crisis. And just to highlight our mobile response team, they received a life-saving award that was associated with a call for service in a parking garage in Short Pump. An individual that was going through a crisis was threatening to jump from the ledge of the parking deck. MRT engaged the individual who was making suicidal statements and had physically climbed over the railing and leaning over the edge of the parking deck. The team used de-escalation skills to verbally comfort the person in crisis. They continued to build a rapport for several minutes, and the individual agreed to climb back over the rail. MRT's actions and negotiation techniques prevented the suicide attempt and resulted in the person receiving the appropriate mental health services. Additionally, the Commission on Accreditation of Rehabilitation Facilities, known as CARF, provide mental health and developmental services with a 3-year accreditation award, which is the highest level. The surveyors recognize the amazing programs, cutting-edge and evidence-based practices, and a purpose-driven and well-organized agency. In 2026, the agency will be accredited for 25 years. That is longevity and teamwork. Mental health services coming from the various entities in Henrico show the focus and intentionality we place on this issue. As you can see, collaboration amongst our public safety teams continues to thrive. Special county events, such as Juneteenth, bring our teams together to ensure these important family events are enjoyable for all in attendance, and this coordination has been a staple for public safety. Lastly, I want to mention a unique partnership with the Henrico Sheriff's Office, the Henrico County Sustainability Division, and FLIP Incorporated. FLIP is a nonprofit organization whose mission is to create an inclusive workforce that reduces employment barriers, particularly for formerly incarcerated individuals. Henrico County Sheriff's Office held a graduation ceremony for participants of their solar panel installation certification program. Providing an opportunity for returning citizens to acquire skills and improve their quality of life by earning a living wage will benefit everyone. What a great partnership. The coordination and collaboration and focus of all our public safety entities demonstrates the commitment of safety for our residents. And speaking of solar, our Chief of Staff, Carrie Trattina, will provide some insight into some of the wonderful projects in the county.
It's the micro. Oh, there we go. Thank you so much, Chief. We are constantly aligning our governmental efforts with our community's feedback to keep a high quality of life for all. The characteristics of our built and natural environments are key components of our residents' daily experiences and the success of our businesses. To that end, the county is bringing our sustainability efforts right to your doorsteps. Through a unique partnership with Dominion Energy Solutions, 88 Henrico low to moderate income households across the entire county are now saving on electrical costs through the production of clean solar energy from free solar systems installed on their roofs. Combined, these systems will save an estimate of $5 million over 30 years. We continue to accept applications to add more homes to the program, and maybe one of our newly trained solar installers will find a career in this program to lead a productive life. That is one of many examples about how we actualize our community's feedback. Our planning and other operational departments have held dozens of listening sessions, charrettes, and presentations to ensure we continue to get to yes with all the touch points of our community and the future development patterns of the county. In fact, our Office of Engagement and Outreach, led by the amazing Jaleesa Turner, is currently collecting input to enhance how the county connects and supports our diverse population. There are close to 130 different languages spoken in our one county, which translates to more than 100 different cultures and societies. We want to engage with all that call Henrico home, so please scan the QR code and tell us how we can better engage with you or your neighbors. During the planning community engagement efforts, residents have made it clear that conservation needs to be a priority during our next comprehensive plan update. We heard from our community members the desire to have less development and more open space in certain portions of Varina. Currently, we are seeking input on a proposal to designate 23,000 acres into a future land use category for prime agricultural and rural conservation. For more information, please check out our Henrico Next website. We thank our Planning Director, Joe Emerson, and his team for their extensive work on this important land use policy. Thank you, Joe. Open space also allows us to create more opportunities for our communities to access new or expanded recreational amenities. 2025 has been another banner year for such county acquisitions in Western Henrico. Featured here is 6 acres at the corner of Patterson Avenue and Mayberry that will become a park in the coming years. The next is the preservation of 27 acres of farmland in the Brooklyn district that will be part of the future expansion of the beautiful Echo Lake Park. And of course, the Deputy County Manager Steve Yobb's Special of the Year, the CSX Canal, to add 5 miles of opportunities in the future for our public to access this unique, historic waterfront asset. All of these properties are building off of the thousands of acres that the county purchased for conservation at Varina and Wilton Farms in the Varina district just a couple years ago. And I imagine that probably somebody else will be talking about land conservation at next year's State of the County. I wouldn't be doing my job as Chief of Staff if I didn't highlight the incredible team that makes all of this happen. None of what you hear this morning is possible without the hardworking and passionate employees of the county and school system. 2 years in a row, Forbes has recognized us as one of America's best in-state employers. 2025 has been a particularly difficult year for our employees as they have navigated challenges outside of their control. But in every circumstance, we have overcome water crises, housing, crime, growing mental health needs, and benefit reductions are just to name a few where we have stepped up and found ways to get to yes for those impacted by these external forces. We are hiring, so come join this incredible team by going to henricojobs.com. A retention effort for both our workforce and community involves housing affordability. Between our Housing Trust Fund and Employee Home Purchase Assistance Program, we have had 56 closings and deployed more than $12 million. That's amazing. In fact, Parkside and Discovery Ridge, the first 2 participating subdivisions in the trust fund, have celebrated closings that marry both of these programs. This is in part to the stewardship of our Community Revitalization Director, Eric Lebo. Thank you so much. And our nonprofit partners of Partnership for Housing Affordability and Home. Thank you all so much for your collaboration. The trust fund buys down the cost of a home through a grant covering site costs. And our down payment assistance program gives county and school working individuals and families the ability to qualify for a mortgage. And as you can see, it truly makes home ownership a reality right here in Henrico County. 141 homes are officially in the trust fund program, and more to come over the next 4 years. If you are a private or nonprofit home builder, come build the American dream right here. And if you are a prospective first-time home buyer, come achieve generational wealth here in Henrico County. On the other side of the housing continuum, we continue to invest in providing life's necessities to individuals experiencing homelessness. For the first time in recent history, the 4 largest localities in Central Virginia are jointly supporting an inclement weather shelter managed by Caritas. An additional 60 beds will now be available when temperatures fall close to freezing, keeping our most vulnerable warm and safe from the elements. And we must thank our Deputy County Manager, Monica Smith-Callahan, for facilitating this partnership. It's truly amazing what you did. It is our hope we are removing barriers for everyone in our community to access shelter and housing options. Related, this year we furthered our efforts to closing the food and security gap that's in our county. Between Feedmore's capital campaign and their emergency relief fund, Henrico has contributed $400,000 to this critical nonprofit provider. Additionally, we helped with the creation of our own food bank that's operated in the Fairfield district, and of course, our Henrico Christmas Mother, who has been helping neighbors since 1942. And I do believe we have our current Christmas Mother, Ann McGee, in the audience. So I put a little plug in for the Christmas Mother and Feed More. There's QR codes on the tables as you exit. Please scan those to donate to these really important organizations for those in need to help them through the holiday season. Finally, a project where the county is focused on every facet of life is Glenwood Farms, which is now newly branded Clover Spring. The county and EDA are advancing the work to redevelop this area of Fairfield with our partners at Spy Rock and Crescent. Structures are down and ground is about to be broken on the first phase that includes 391 affordable units for seniors and family. More importantly, we continue to uplift the lives of the community members who have been safely relocated on the property. Through our Glenwood Farms Support Fund and our nonprofit partnerships, which I've mentioned several here today, we are creating the opportunity for our neighbors to achieve economic mobility through workforce development programs, financial education organizations, and community programming. Now, one of the county officials making this redevelopment and others in the county happen is my friend Bentley Chan, the Director of Public Utilities, who I welcome to the stage.
Thank you, Carrie. These projects and many, many more are all possible due to the county's commitment to getting to yes and in providing the infrastructure that supports our community. At its October 28th meeting, the Board of Supervisors awarded the contract for the construction of the new 4-lane Magellan Parkway over I-95 from Englewood Farms Drive to Scott Road. Included in this project are a shared use path and sidewalk. Also included in this project will be water infrastructure, because who doesn't love the best tasting water in the country? Already installed are both new sanitary sewer infrastructure for Scott Road residents and new sewer infrastructure under I-295 to support the reimagining of the Best Products site. This year, we continued our pedestrian safety initiative, marking a milestone with over 100,000 Watch Out Ahead Henrico. Mr. Yob, if you please. Vests handed out, and 100,300 if everyone here takes one home with them. Shout out to our Public Works Department, led by Terrell Hughes, who has 74 active pedestrian safety improvement projects in progress, have added 20 miles of additional sidewalk and 16 miles of shared use trails, and are focusing on safety improvements around schools with crosswalk enhancements. One such safety enhancement is the installation of the Central Virginia Transportation Authority, or CVTA, funded pedestrian hybrid beacons at schools around the county and at the Fall Line Trail crossings. These beacons are blank traffic signals that when a pedestrian pushes a button will cause the lights to flash and eventually turn red to stop cars like a normal traffic signal would. Speaking of pedestrian improvements, we recently completed the first phase of the Fall Line Trail at Spring Park at Lakeside. The 6 remaining phases in Henrico, resulting in over 7.5 miles of trail, will connect Lakeside to Woodman Road and are scheduled for construction in 2026. The trail will have places to park and restrooms, because who doesn't like restrooms, you know, for water use. On to roads. The southern portion of Sadler Road, which is about a mile in length, has been open to traffic. Upon completion, this project will include a roundabout and feature a shared use trail. Also currently under construction is the Bethlehem Road Improvements Project, which will provide a roundabout at the busy Bethlehem at Libby Avenue intersection to improve safety. Roundabouts such as these have been attributed to safer conditions for cars and pedestrians, providing substantial reductions in crashes. To date, we have not had any injury crashes at any roundabouts that have been built in the county. Additionally, this project will connect to the Libby Avenue Improvements Project that will go to construction soon. Major road improvements are not just the only things on the docket, as we're looking at widening and improving Henrico's rural roads to better serve the traveling public and address safety concerns. This effort, also funded by CVTA, will improve Carter's Mill, East Richmond Road, Kane Road, Kingsland Road, Meadow Road, Mill Road, Orms Lane, Turner Road, Yaley Mill, and Wilton Farm Road. These improvements highlight the county's efforts in ensuring that CVTA funding is benefiting all residents. One major road improvement project to note is the Richmond-Henrico Turnpike project, which will improve the road to a 4-lane divided roadway with a trail and sidewalk. Included in this project will be 6,100 feet of 42-inch water pipeline. More on that later. In addition to sidewalks, trails, and roads, the county is making sure that the infrastructure underneath the roads is ready to support the evolution of the community. In public utilities, we are expanding our sanitary sewer collection and conveyance capacity with an additional 77 million gallons per day capacity to support redevelopment and densification efforts. 77 million gallons per day is an additional 48 million flushes, just in case if you're wondering. In particular is the deep run trunk sewer that allows for the redevelopment of Innsbrook from office to urban mixed use. With 12,800 feet of 48-inch and 54-inch new sanitary sewer mains from Broad Street to Knuckles, this sewer will support future development and redevelopment of Western Henrico. Speaking of redevelopment, Henrico's Westwood neighborhood will soon see construction begin on a new 5.2 MGD sewage pumping station to support all 161 acres of urban redevelopment, replacing a small 0.7 MGD station. We expect this station to be online by the end of 2027. While it is important to address the challenges we know about, it is even more important what we do together when we face crises that no one imagines would happen. In January, our community was without water for 3 days and was under a boil water advisory for 2 additional days. We pulled together and did whatever it took to see our way through the crisis, highlighting everyone's commitment to each other and to serving the community together. Through the crisis, we learned of the need for greater reliability, redundancy, and resiliency of the infrastructure that takes care of us. To that end, the Board of Supervisors will award a design and construction services contract for a new 13-mile, 42-inch water transmission main next month that will ensure our community's water service redundancy. Work has already begun with that 6,100-foot section of 42-inch pipeline that will run underneath Richmond-Henrico Turnpike. I would like to now turn things over to the county school superintendent, who's also no stranger to taking good care of our community, Dr. Amy Cashwell.
Thank you, Bentley. Good morning. It is a privilege to be joined by members of the school board and key members of the Henrico Schools team to be a part of this annual look at what makes Henrico County and Henrico County Public Schools such remarkable places to live, to work, and to learn. This year marks the launch of the school division's new strategic plan, Journey to 2030. This plan was built in collaboration with students, families, employees, and community members. Their voices shaped 4 key focus areas: academic achievement, learning environment, physical, social, emotional, and mental health, and recruiting and retaining excellent staff. Everything we do, every lesson taught, every decision made aligns with this shared vision. Journey to 2030 is more than a plan. It's our roadmap for the future of Henrico schools. Of course, our success depends on our people and everyone who serves our students each and every day. Thanks to their dedication, HCPS has earned recognition as a Forbes Best In-State Employer for the 3rd year in a row, and I am so proud to say that we are Virginia's highest-ranked K-12 public education school division on the list. This same commitment to excellence is visible in our school buildings, several of which are being reimagined to support future-ready learning. At the campus of Virginia Randolph, renovations and program redesigns are well underway, honoring Virginia Randolph's legacy while creating a modern campus, housing an advanced education center, alternative education programs, and an elementary special education program. There will also be space dedicated for family and community engagement. Some students are already attending class on site, and the rest will move into the new facility after winter break. Across the county, projects made possible by community-supported bond referenda are transforming our schools. For example, Adams Elementary School is being fully renovated. The first 3 phases are already done with full completion scheduled for the fall of 2026. Jackson Davis Elementary and Longin Elementary are being rebuilt as larger, 2-story buildings that will serve up to 750 students each. Construction at both sites will be finished for the start of the next school year. A rebuilt Quioccasin Middle, or the RECU as some call it, will be a 3-story building to replace the original structure from 1969. The new school will house classrooms designed for collaboration, one of the county's middle school centers for innovation, and a family and community engagement hub. Construction should start soon with an anticipated opening date of the fall of 2027. And things are really coming together on the 2nd floor of the A Center at Hermitage High School, where students are literally building the future. Students in trade programs are gaining hands-on commercial construction experience, working alongside contractors to build out the 2nd floor classrooms at the A Center. When considering the student workers, partnerships with local companies, and the donation of a portion of the materials and supplies, the school division could realize approximately $5 million in cost avoidance on this project. And of course, the real payoff is the one-of-a-kind learning experience it creates for our career and technical education students. In September, we broke ground on something truly extraordinary, the Living Building at Wilton Farm. When complete, it will be the world's first K-12 school to meet the Living Building Challenge, the most rigorous standard for sustainable design. The school will generate its own energy, capture and purify its own water, and serve as a living laboratory for students exploring environmental science and sustainability. This project exists thanks to the visionary leadership and support from our school board, our board of supervisors, and county manager, who saw the potential at Wilton Farm as a place where education, innovation, and environmental stewardship will come together. Our mission, as always, is academic excellence and preparing students with the knowledge, the skills, and the abilities necessary to tackle life's challenges beyond K-12 learning. Henrico students continue to achieve on-time graduation rates above 91%, with nearly 60% of our graduates earning advanced diplomas or IB diplomas. That's right. Many others are earning industry credentials that prepare them for college and for careers. And as I mentioned a moment ago, we are also expanding middle school learning options through our middle school centers for innovation. The first opened last year at John Rolfe Middle School, and the second will be housed at Quioccasin. These centers spark creativity and connect students with STEM and business professionals, thanks to partnerships with VCU's Da Vinci Center and many local employers. Looking ahead, we are especially excited about the Center for Cybersecurity at Henrico High School opening in the fall of 2026. Students will graduate with certifications and a head start towards college degrees while preparing for one of the fastest growing and highest paying industries in the nation. The third focus area in our strategic plan centers on student and staff wellness. We know that students learn best when they feel safe and supported. Through Henrico Cares, our school division and our county government are cutting the red tape and improving access to mental health services at all levels of need. Last school year, we added 5 tiered intervention school counselors who deliver trauma-informed services that prevent and address youth substance abuse, violence, and mental health concerns at their roots. We also launched 2 essential programs in collaboration with outside service providers. Care Solace is a 24/7 multilingual service connecting families with mental health providers. In its first year, more than 450 families received care with connection rates with providers more than twice as fast as the national average. Hazel, yes. Hazel Health is a teletherapy and virtual therapy option for our high school students. With parent or guardian consent, students can meet weekly from home with licensed multilingual therapists. So far, 132 students have participated in more than 500 virtual therapy sessions, and we are already seeing the positive impacts of these services at the school-based level, and resources and counselors are in place to serve our students. Last year, Henrico schools recorded the lowest number of suicide risk screenings completed in more than 4 years. Together, the many facets of Henrico Cares represent a growing network that ensures that every student and every family in Henrico has access to the support they need when and where they need it. And that is key as we strive to build positive school cultures where students and staff wellness are prioritized. From a security standpoint, every school now has advanced weapons screening technology and multi-tiered safety plans. But the true foundation of safety are the relationships that we build, creating schools where students and staff look out for one another. Similarly, our partnerships with our school resource officers and the entire Henrico Police Division is vital. Together, we are creating schools and neighborhoods where students can feel seen, supported, and safe. As you can see, the Henrico County Public Schools story is one of shared vision, of partnership, and of commitment. From innovative classrooms and sustainable campuses to mental health supports and world-class academics, we are not just preparing students for the future, we are helping them shape it. Thank you for your continued trust and support of Henrico County Public Schools. It is my honor to serve as your superintendent and my pleasure to work collaboratively with our school board and all of our county leaders, especially Mr. Vitolkis. Mr. Manager, thank you for bringing us together today to celebrate all that is happening to make Henrico County the community of choice in Central Virginia. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, can we get a round of applause for Dr. Cashwell and all of the presenters? Absolutely fantastic presentation this morning. So I want to close by saying thank you to everyone for spending this time with us this morning. And I also want to recognize the fact that in Henrico County, we seem to be able to do succession management well. You know, we have a number of agencies that are led by incredible individuals, an incredible team of deputy county managers. But just recently, we announced that Carrie Trattina was going to be leading our Economic Development Agency. And I can tell you, to the Economic Development Authority, you know, this young lady I have seen come up through the ranks. She has helped me personally navigate things like COVID, financial difficulties, water crises, and you all are getting a gem of an employee. So ladies and gentlemen, please recognize Carrie Trattina in her new role. So once again, thank you. This was an incredible year. We are already working on a number of efforts going into 2026 and hope to be able to report to you just as a robust program this time next year. So thank you, everyone. Have a great Thanksgiving. Happy holidays. Thanks again for being here.